As I said in the previous video, in this video I'm going to talk about custom audiences, and I'm going to show you how you can create actor-like audiences, which is the same as lookalike audiences in Facebook, that we're going to use for our horizontal scaling to basically test different audiences. And but first, there's one more important thing, because when you decide to scale a product or scale a campaign, or if you have a brand, you immediately want to create those custom audiences as well as retargeting audiences, because Pinterest is going to fill those audiences from the moment you create them. So you can't, if you want to create an audiences with the website visitors of the last 30 days, then from the moment you create that audiences is not going to include the people that visited your website in the past 30 days. It's going to fill the audiences from the moment you create the audience. So especially if you have a brand, you immediately want to do this when you start advertising on Pinterest. And of course the same goes for retargeting, and how we can create retargeting audiences I'm going to show you in the retargeting module. For now, I'm going to show you how to create actor-like audiences. And what we need to do is we need to go to ads and then go to audiences, and we can create audiences based on people that interacted with our pin and people who visited our website. And I'm just going to show you the difference, because here we have we can select a couple different things. Here we can create a audience that, as you can see, visitors who went to your website. Here we can upload a list from Shopify, for example, of our customers. Here we can create an audience with people that engage with our pins. And lastly, we can create actor-like audiences here. But to create actor-like audiences, we first need to make a custom audience. First going to show you what it looks like if you're going to create a custom audiences with people that engage with your pin. Because if you're testing different products, then of course you want a custom audiences for every different product. And here, if we create a custom audience here, then it's going to create a custom audience with the people that interacted with a pin that links to a certain URL. So if we wouldn't use a filter, it's going to create an audience with everybody that interacted with a pin that linked to our website, lightneck.com. But here we can add filters, and we can put a URL here. So for every different product, you can select a URL, and then it's going to create an audience with people that interacted with a pin that has this URL. And of course here you can choose the past few days. So what I like to do is create different audiences, but mostly I always start with big audiences. So for the past 180 days or the past 60 days, for example. And then later when we start scaling, and I will also test smaller audiences with 7 days, for example. Then we can also create an audience with people who went to our website. So of course you need to select your Pinterest tag here. There's a couple different things, but of course we need to select Pinterest tag. Here you can choose a name and choose a description. I barely ever use a description. The name often is enough. And here you can choose the days again. And here we can select filters. So we can also create a list of people that added the product to cart. Here, checkout. So you can enter those events here, but if you do enter those events, then you can't select a specific domain or URL for a specific product. But if you want to create a list of people who visited your website of a URL, then of course you can put the URL of your specific product right here. And right now I'm not going to do that because we just have a one product store. So for us that doesn't really make sense. So we can just use we don't have to use these filters. We can just create a audience of the website visitors of the past 30 days and hit create. And now that we created this, from now Pinterest is going to track everything and fill this list until it has been 13 days, and then it keeps renewing, of course. And what we want to do now to create an act-alike audiences is go here, create an act-alike audience, and then we can name this website visitors 30 days. And because we always want to use big audiences, this also depends on the country that you're selling in, because here in the US, here you can see the target size. So this would be 8.3 million. But if you go to my country, for example, it's only 367K. So if I would create audiences for my specific country, I would always use 10%, because if I go lower, as you can see, this audience size gets smaller. So I would always use 10%. But if I'm selling in the US, then I would use 10%, but I would always also create one with 5% and maybe even 2%. And then of course we put this in the name here and hit create. And these audiences, once they are filled, we are going to add in our conversion campaign the same as we added interests and keywords with the horizontal scaling method.